happy to take questions because I won't be able to meet all of you, but I do want to let you know that I am very, very proud. This is the most humbling experience I've ever had. I'm the youngest of 11 children, so I'm used to not getting to be first in line. My standard joke is I'm the fastest runner in the family because I had to outrun the 7 brothers, which is pretty much true. But anyways, can I ask, does anybody have any questions here today? Yes, sir. Well, the question was about the carbon tax, and as all of you know, there's a $3 billion carbon tax that has just been passed through by the NDP majority. We voted against it. In fact, we were the only party that had every single one of our members there voting against it. The Wild Rose Party, I might add. And we voted against it, we spoke against it, we tried to hold up the legislation a bit, we tried to negotiate, we brought forward amendments, we tried everything we possibly could, but the truth is this $3 billion carbon tax is going to affect all Albertans significantly. Remember that there's only 1 million households in Alberta, so when you divide 3 billion by 1 million, you get $3,000 per household. Now we know that it's going to cost at least $1,000 per household because we've done the analysis through StatScan and building it up, and we've also done the analysis on extra costs, and we know it's going to cost $1,000 per household. Now, that $1,000 per household is going to cost you money out of your pockets today that you're already spending on other things. This is not an extra bonus or a wage increase you get from the provincial government when they give you a tax. This is actually a tax bill, which means most of you have to make over $1,800 to pay that tax bill. That's money coming out of your taxes that you're not going to see when you don't have jobs. And most Albertans, you know, you may not know this, but 80,000 Albertans have lost their jobs since the NDP have come into power. Do you know that just last month, we had something like 1,800 people lose their job each and every working hour of the month? 1,800 Albertans. This is unbelievable. And I think there was somewhere in the neighborhood of 42 or 44,000 full-time jobs lost last month. This is in Alberta. We only have a population of 4 million people. Now, I'm not blaming the NDP for the low oil prices, but I have to tell you, what they're doing in reaction to the low oil prices, including a carbon tax, including a royalty review that frankly didn't give them any answers, but brought a lot of instability into the industry and into Calgary, is unbelievable, and it's negligent. So this government has been, in my opinion, very negligent with its initiatives, because as you know, governments have 2 powers. They have the power to legislate and change laws, but they also have the power to send signals into the marketplace. And the signals they are sending into the oil and gas sector in Canada and the world is do not invest in Alberta. They are either ashamed of our industry or they simply don't know what they're doing, and I think it's a little bit of both. So I hope I've answered that question. I will promise you this. If the Wild Rose gets elected in 3 years, we will eliminate the NDP carbon tax. And if I can say this, we will also eliminate debt, and it's going to take us some time, so please be patient. But we are going to be at $58 billion in debt in 3 years. That's the NDP government, $58 billion in debt. And just if I can tell you one more addition that's going to come out of your pockets because of this government, that $58 billion is going to cost each and every Alberta family about $2,000 a year in interest payments. $2,000 a year in interest payments. That's ridiculous. That's $2 billion in interest that our provincial government will be making each and every year just to support the debt, not to pay it down. That means that you will have $2,000 of your money going towards paying interest when, frankly, as it's been mentioned, there's not a lot of jobs going around, and the good ones are all gone. So,
on top of the carbon tax.
Yes, on top of the carbon tax. So, and Bill 6, one more thing, and I know it's extremely popular here. You know, I understand why they brought it forward, because they're ideological. And they make decisions based upon not what's best for you, not what's pragmatic and practical, but what they believe the long-term agenda for them and the people that believe in them should follow. It's not the Alberta way. Albertans are the bosses of us. You don't hear that very much, but I actually believe that, and Mark believes it too. No. Yeah, we do work hard for it. Now, the biggest problem I hate about Bill 6 is the same thing that I hate about most of what this government's done, and that is that the government is not listening to us. They do not have their ears open. They do not go around and consult. They brought in Bill 6 legislation, and they forced it on us without one bit of consultation. They've done that with several bills. A government that doesn't listen is a government that has no moral authority to govern its people. This is a democracy, or it's supposed to be, and we need to change that.
Yes, please.
So I have a girlfriend
is Filipino, and she says that all the people that the Liberals brought in, you know, many moons ago, vote Liberal on the basis of, you know, loyalty. So that she brought them in. She said finally that they say the kids start to figure that out. Do you think that the Liberals bring in all these for that reason?
So many things to answer.
Yeah, that's a big question.
I did have the interesting privilege of serving with Justin Trudeau for a few years in Ottawa, so I'm not sure if he's actually got any plan whatsoever. But I will say that you're absolutely right. A lot of people did vote for Trudeau over the years because back in the 70s he brought them in. But, you know, second generation are conservatives. They're people that believe in less government, lower taxes, and that's exactly what it is. I agree with you. Even though I'm in government now, that's scary. Yeah, I know. I keep saying the same thing. No, but, you know, the situation is that a lot of governments try to manipulate things for their own advantage. They try to pull early elections or have late elections, and that didn't work out very good for Jim Prentice. They try to do sneaky things behind the voters' backs, and it doesn't work. And that's why Wild Rose is a new party. It's got a new direction, and it's got new policies. And what we're going to do is do things differently. We actually believe that the members have the power, and in the Wild Rose, the members do have the power. And we'll make sure you continue to have the power, and that you're continue to listen to, and that you bring forward policy ideas and initiatives that we bring into action and into government, and we make it better for you, because ultimately your decisions are better decisions, and the more we have those decisions closer to here where the people are, the better decisions are made and the more money stays here. Yes, ma'am.
There's talk of the minimum wage being increased to $15 an hour. I'm just wondering how that's going to affect the economy and our businesses should be able to handle that.
We've already heard clearly that businesses in Calgary and Edmonton and some smaller centres are not going to be able to handle that. Sorry? Oh, yeah, sorry, I'll repeat the question. The question was $15 minimum wage, which is, of course, being brought in by the NDP. Now, I will tell you that they did listen to us a little bit. They did slow things down a little bit. So they brought it in incrementally because we suggested that they should actually do an economic analysis to see what's happened in other jurisdictions. Now, Australia's brought it in, and I can tell you that meals are very expensive if you want to go out and eat in Australia. I can tell you that if you want to go pick up a pop at a gas station, it's going to cost you probably double, if not triple, that it costs right here, because people are paid a minimum wage. And that minimum wage is, I think, about $16.25 in Australia, and in Washington it's somewhere around the same. But what we have heard clearly is that the people that are most vulnerable, seniors and young people, are the ones that are going to lose their jobs. And that's what we're concerned about, because those people that are picking up a couple extra hours here or there, or first out to get a job, 14, 15, 16 years old, those people can't find jobs anymore because nobody can afford to pay them that. We're hoping that maybe the NDP government will provide some exemptions, so there will be the ability to train, or people will be able to do different things, but I don't think they're going to do that. This government is ideologically set on making sure that that $15 minimum wage is brought in before they're gone. It's going to be very difficult for businesses in Alberta, especially small businesses, restaurants. They will simply lay off staff. That is what is happening, and they've told us that. Chamber of Commerce has told us that. Business groups have told us that right across the province.
I have a question.
Yes.
You said that we as Albertans have power, but right now anybody who disagrees with the NDP basically doesn't matter how many people sign a petition. There's nothing that they're going to do that is contrary to their ideology. So is there anything that the opposition parties can do on our behalf, short of an actual revolt against the leading party, that will make a difference before the next election?
The question was in relation to, is there anything we can do to take the NDP out of power within 3 years? Pretty much. I will tell you that there's not a lot we can do. This is a parliamentary democracy. They've been elected with a majority. If they had a minority, yes, we could do something, but with a majority we can't. Now, I will tell you that we could have done something. We had proposed recall legislation. 3 times we proposed it, just in the last year. And the last time we proposed it, guess who voted with the NDP?
PCs.
The PCs voted with the NDP, and they should be ashamed of themselves. This is a piece of legislation that we brought forward that's part of the policy of the Wild Rose Party, and this would give us the opportunity to do exactly that. To recall people that are not effective, that are not doing a good job, and frankly are not listening to the people of Alberta. And this government, as has been mentioned, is ignoring the people of Alberta right now. They're ignoring them in relation to their policies, they're ignoring them in relation to their legislative initiatives, and they're ignoring them in relation to the signals they send out to the world. They're ashamed of our oil and gas sector. I'm not. I'm proud of it. They're ashamed of our coal industry. I'm not. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of our industry. I'm proud of the men and women that work so hard every day to provide a better quality of life, and I'm not going to apologize for that ever. Now, if I can, one last question, if you don't mind, and then please.
Does the Wild Rose support a provincial-wide referendum on changing the electoral system to something more proportional?
You know, there's arguments on both sides, and I've been a part of, as I mentioned, the federal government for some period of time in Ottawa, and I see the arguments on both sides, and I understand proportional representation has its advantages, but it also has its disadvantages. And for a country like ours that's so spread out geographically, I think it would do damage to our economy, and frankly would lead to a lot of minority governments that wouldn't accomplish much, and I do think it would not work as well as some people think it would. Some of the jurisdictions in Europe and other places around the world that have this type of proportional representation, frankly, have a lot of problems, and I don't think it's the best for us. But that's up to the people.
But how do you compare that to the single transferable vote system?
As I said, that's up to the people. And what we do with our policy is we don't have Brian Jean lead the charge. We don't have Mark Smith lead the charge. What we do is we have people join our boards, like people that are here today volunteering. And by the way, thank you folks to all the volunteers that are volunteering today. Can we hear it for them? And if I could, to all the board members that are on Mark's board today, could we just have a round of applause for them very quickly? Now, those are the people you should talk to, because those people can actually put down on paper an initiative to change the electoral system. If they want to change the electoral system, they can put that forward by way of a policy at the convention floor that's happening at our AGM in October. Man, if you've never been to a Wild Rose convention, it is so exciting.
I can actually attest that it is super exciting, and that's part of the reason I got involved, is to make a difference.
Okay, there are some people that find it exciting. All right. He's great. But what we need to do is we need to leave it in the people's hands. And that, if they bring forward policy initiatives, and you've seen it, they bring forward policy initiatives, we vote on it as a group, and we debate it as a group, and then we discuss it, and then we decide whether it goes forward. And if it goes forward, the good news is with Wild Rose, you get to decide on what your laws are going to be. Thank you so much for everything you do for us, for Alberta, and for Mark. I really appreciate it, and Mark Smith is a great guy.